Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So after Jermell Charlo lost to Canelo Alvarez, his brother Jermall Charlo, he went on his live stream and he revealed something that pretty much confirms what I've been telling you guys since day one. Now, I had heard about Jermall Charlo saying this after the fight, but I had never listened to the actual live stream. I just listened to it now. And he said his son has been getting bullied and harassed at school because his uncle lost to Canelo Alvarez. We know that Jermall Charlo lives in Texas, and the majority, if not all of the kids that has been harassing Jermall Charlo's son were most likely Mexican. I remember when Floyd Mayweather, when he beat Robert the Ghost Guerrero, and my son, he told me when he was at school, he said Mexican kids, they were saying, yeah, but Floyd Mayweather, he won't fight Canelo. And we all know what happened shortly after that. You know, now I think about it, that actually reminds me of another story. I remember we were living in Las Vegas and, you know, my kids, they were training. Both of them were boxing at the time. We were training at Richard Steele's gym. Well, there used to be a kid that used to train with us. He was a little bit older. He was a big kid. His name was Alex, and he was half black and Mexican. Well, I would often talk to his parents while we're at the gym. The father was Mexican and his mother was black. And they would tell me how these racist Mexicans on their block would just constantly try to racially harass Alex and his little sister, calling them racial slurs, saying that he's not really Mexican just because he's half black. Well, these kids, they didn't know that Alex, he had hands. They didn't know he knew how to fight. So he would be beating these kids up. And this is what the Mexican father is telling me. And he would tell me that these little racist kids' parents, they would come out and they would get upset with the father because his kid was beating up these racist kids. And he would also obviously tell me that they couldn't stand him because he had a black wife. So Alex, he was getting harassed every day by little race fans in his neighborhood, and his uncle didn't lose to Canelo Alvarez. It's crazy for so many reasons, because you would expect someone to want to start a fight because their guy lost, not because their guy won. So here's the point that I wanted to make. Jermell Charlo, he has gone on record in the past completely praising not only Canelo, but the Canelo Alvarez fans. He said in one live chat, he said, Viva Mexico. He said, I love the Canelo Alvarez fans. And he was saying all of this because he was trying to distance himself from his brother Jermall Charlo, because this was around the time that Jermall started aggressively calling out Canelo Alvarez. And because he was calling out Canelo Alvarez, Jermall started to get bombarded by racist Canelo Alvarez fans on the internet, which Jermell Charlo did not want to be a part of. So, of course, because their family, because they're twin brothers, these racist fans, they were attacking them both. And Jermell would come out and say, hey, y'all, you guys are getting me mixed up with my brother. I'm Jermell, not Jermall. Jermall is the one that wants to fight Canelo Alvarez. And then at the time, because Jermell was at 154, he even went so far as to saying, you guys don't have to worry. There's no Mexicans for me to fight in my division. But what Jermell didn't understand is those racist fans, they didn't care if he was Jermell or Jermall, or if he was just Jermall's cousin or just a friend. In fact, these type of fans, they didn't even care if Jermell himself was rooting for Canelo Alvarez. They still felt the same way about Jermell, no matter what he said on that live stream. And the comments on the internet from Mexican Canelo Alvarez fans and these kids that are harassing Jermall Charlo's kids at school completely confirms that. And this is the reason why I say no black fighter should go out there trying to cater to a bunch of racists just for their acceptance. They are always going to feel the same way about you because this was never about boxing for them. This has always been about race, your race in particular. That's why they're called race fans. Those fans didn't care that Jermell Charlo said Viva Mexico. They didn't care that one time Jermell was feuding with his brother, and he even said, Jermall, my brother ducked Canelo. I would always see Mexican fans in my comment section saying, yeah, look at what Jermell Charlo said. Jermell Charlo said that Jermall, he ducked Canelo. But every single time Jermell got in the ring and fought someone who was not black, those same fans, they were rooting against him and celebrating, hoping to see him lose. And this wasn't just about Canelo beating him. This was about seeing Jermell Charlo lose, period. Because when he was fighting Castaño, they were all obviously rooting for Castaño. really rooting against Jamel, not rooting for Castaño, because there is a difference. So when you guys hear that Jermall Charlo's kids are being harassed at school because his uncle lost to Canelo Alvarez, despite the fact that Jamel, went out of his way to completely praise Canelo and Canelo Alvarez fans, they didn't even care. Let that be a lesson to all of the black boxers out there that try to go out of their way to cater to a bunch of race fans and old media's narrative just because they think they'll get better comments on Instagram or Twitter. The exact same things that these kids are saying to Jermall Charlo's kids at school, we see the same boxing fans saying these things about Jermell Charlo on the internet, celebrating that he lost despite the fact that he moved up 2 weight classes. I mean, just think of how crazy this sounds. Imagine if Mikey Garcia's son was being harassed and bullied at school by black kids because he lost to Errol Spence. It would never happen. And first of all, they would never be celebrating like that because it was expected. There's never really a whole lot of serious, crazy celebrating when a black fighter beats a non-black fighter, because that's something that we've seen millions of times. Like I said, 95% of the greatest boxers of all time, black or Mexican or anyone else, suffered one of their very first losses to a black boxer. In fact, the majority of all of them suffered their very first loss to a black fighter. And when it comes to the Mexican fighters in particular, at least 98% of them suffered their very first loss to a black boxer. By the way, I'm only talking about the greatest Mexican fighters of all time. You know, I'm gonna go ahead and close out with this last point. I don't have a problem exposing racist Mexicans at all, because the Mexicans that are not racist, they know exactly what I'm talking about. Because usually Mexicans are the ones that are giving me all of this information about racist Mexicans and what racist Mexicans are often saying about black people when there are no black people in the room. Now, every once in a while when I'm talking about these racist Mexicans, I'll get a fan every once in a blue moon. He'll say, hey, what about me? I'm not Mexican and I feel the same way the Mexicans feel. I never said that Mexicans are the only racist boxing fans in the sport. I'm just telling you, they are the most racist boxing fans in the sport of boxing, hands down, and the most overt racist. But if you're feeling a little jealous, you could always put your race in the comment section if you want to represent your race that way. With that being said, I'm gonna wrap this video up. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next. Well, if you feel that your race is being left out, just go ahead and shout your race out and we'll go ahead and put you on. Once again, now you black fighters know how these racist fans feel about you, regardless if you try to cater to them or not. These race fans, they don't care if you say, I look up to Canelo. I just want to meet him and take a picture with him. He's the best fighter in the world. Boy, it's something special about that Canelo Alvarez. I wish I had the skills that he had. They don't care about none of that. The only thing that will make them happy is to see you lose, and lose to someone who is not black. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one. All right, now check this out, guys. If you're looking to repair eczema scars, burns and bruises, dark spots and blemishes, fever blisters, diabetic ulcers, this right here is the perfect product for you guys. It's called Elo Decay Face and Body Oil. Athletes and top-ranking boxers, they're also using it after training to reduce swelling, inflammation, and to ease the pain. So get yours today. Go to elodecay.com, like them on Facebook, and follow them on Instagram. Let me tell you guys about Issa Israel Law Firm. It is a full-service legal practice based in Denver, Colorado, an emerging hub for combat sports and high-altitude training. If you're a fighter inside or outside of the ring and you need a law firm you can trust to fight for you, visit thefighterfirm.com or email help@iilawfirm.com. Legal representation is usually limited to plaintiffs or defendants in Colorado, but iFirm can help anyone in the world with trademarking their business name, logos, and U.S. immigration issues. This brother has been my attorney for a while and helped guide me through all kinds of business and civil issues, so make sure you guys go to thefighterfirm.com.